Tell me how you learn. That's the motto of our podcast, in which people share their personal experiences, tips and insights on learning. Our guest today,
Pedro Rocha Vieira.
Pedro is one of the brains behind Lisbon's thriving economy and successful innovation strategy. With his company BetaChallenge, he is advising the city of Lisbon. For Pedro, any system is complex and holds multi-layered realities. Let it be his own enterprise or nation's economy. Where these realities intersect, it's there where he finds new angles to develop and where he learns.
Since I was very young, I was not a very good student. I was not very focused. I have this attention span, so I've always tried to look at a lot of different kinds of things. And then what I'm good is at building relationships and building the ecosystem, the system thinking, to see the interactions. And so for me, I always thought that everything is relative, so there's no truth. So every system has its own way of looking at reality and describing reality. So what we need to do is getting into the different realities and crossing that with what we think we know. I learned by that, by putting in words and trying to really understand what I want to build.
So how has this way of learning, which you just described, impacted what you do now in your job?
In different ways. I'm a leader of a company. What we do is that we promote the creation of ecosystems of startups and innovation. So what we do is a lot enabling and helping entrepreneurs to start their business, and also helping big organizations to develop innovation strategy through collaboration. So it's a lot about finding new angles to develop. These new angles come from the intersections of different things. And so when a company comes to me, or the city of Lisbon, or a startup, what I start doing is interconnecting the different points of view and trying to find common ground that they can build on top of it. And for that, you need a lot to understand how other people think, what they want, what are their feelings. What I like a lot is, for learning and for what I do, is to work a lot in myself. So doing a lot of psychoanalysis or my own experience, so that I know really well myself, and so that I can be aware of other people. So when I'm trying and when I'm experimenting things, I'm reading a lot of different realities, not only the business, but the emotional, the psychological, a lot of different things, cultural, because when you're doing innovation, you have to join so many different layers, so many different systems. If you're not aware of yourself and you cannot understand also how the other person's reality is, it's difficult for you to read all the subtle things that are happening when you are creating new reality, when you're creating new knowledge. And for me, learning is that.
When you analyze yourself and you look into yourself, what were such moments which you do recall, which you do remember, where you said, wow, this was a learning kind of thing which changed somehow my way forward?
What I've learned with what I've been doing is that you have to understand what is the action that the system needs you to do that will bring more consensus, will bring more critical mass. What I've been trying a lot is to manage and to understand what is the role of these different people that I brought around me, and how can I be kind of a maestro of managing the energy of that system. Can be in the organization, BetaChallenge, can be with our clients, with our community, even at the city, the country level, international level. It's like I'm part of different dimensions of the system. So if you trust yourself and you trust the process, you start to see that you are able to create things that are amazing, and to get to places that before you thought was very difficult, very impossible. And it's difficult to put in words, but for me it's that understanding that I have a role. Everything is a cause and effect, and being always aware of the small things, and see the combinations growing and emerging. And for me, it's that. So learning my wow moment was that nothing, when you understand that reality is not set, when you see that the people that you think created reality are not that different from you, and things then that you are part of the system, and you create new things, and it's not that complex.
What kind of role has digital played in your own way forward?
I think that the biggest thing that the digital allows is that you can have access, you can communicate with a huge range of people. Create networks, exchange information.
Increases complexity.
Increases and decreases, because of course increases because it brings more information, but at the same time, with data, with technology, you can also organize the collective intelligence of a system, and you can better coordinate how you communicate with different things. How you were before, when we were, I'm a bit younger, but reality was what we saw in the newspaper. Yeah? Now, newspaper is just a fragmentation of reality. There's so many realities happening, and that's so now you can choose where you can step in, and you don't feel that you are going off track, because there's so many tracks. And so this perception and this fluidity of the system, it's enabled by the digital. I think we also have realized that we are analog people, and so to learn, it's not only through digital. Digital is interesting to ignite a few things, enable but there's learning processes that you need to interact, to touch, to smell, to be close with people, to disconnect. And so I think to learn should be always a hybrid thing. The digital alone, it works too much on your mental, not on your energy, not on your body. So you have to combine this. And also to learn, for me, it was very important as a learning process also to do yoga, to run, because only through digital you get numb after a while. It's like you are using just one spectrum of your being and you get saturated. And then so you have to open, you have to regenerate. And that's what I'm trying a lot. It's to find ways to regenerate myself and to do things that are completely opposite to my normal day. So I like to read in paper. I read, now I'm reading biocentrism, I'm reading Jung, I'm reading poetry, I'm reading literature. I like to mix a lot of different things because I think it's through that and being off and being in nature and these kind of things. If we don't balance, then we get saturated and we stop learning in a more holistic way.
You said earlier, one of your roles once in a while is also being a coach, enabling other people. So what kind of mistakes would you apologize a coach is making?
I think it's natural from almost all of us, and I do the same, that we don't listen enough and we try to suggest other people that they do by what we think they should do. When we forget that each person is a completely different human being with a completely different system of behavior and thinking and purpose and everything, if we try to influence based on our perception, that's a big mistake.
On the other side, what would you apologize from a learner?
If the arrogance blinds them, I think that's a bad thing. So allowing a little bit of confidence, of ego, but in a healthy way, I think.
When you think about learning, which color does come into your mind?
I think an holistic way, and I like the chakras things. The colors are associated with different kind of levels of learning. So of course and we have different colors, like we're a rainbow, and I like these concepts that we are. It's not like it's a direct and linear progression of learning, but we are different levels of ourselves that need to evolve, and we can be higher in some ones and lower, so we have to improve in different ways. In terms of the colors, I like very much the kinds of purple and blue, which is more spiritual, but I know that a lot of the learning It's interesting that beta is called beta, which is a kind of a frequency that is usually more linked to action. It's our beta state in terms of mind is when your mind is fast, it's kind of open, but is very action driven. That's more linked with orange and this kind of colors. But then it's good to have that energy, but you have, like, again, when we were saying how we learn, we have to moderate and to integrate different colors, otherwise we get saturated.
If you look into the animal world, from which animal would you like to learn, and also what?
I think in one way I like to learn to be more slow. I like maybe a snake or a snail, because you have to be patient, and then the snail also is autonomous, have their house in themselves.
Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot. So this is it. The latest episode of Tell Me How You Learn. We hope you liked it, and thanks for listening. I wish you a wonderful time wherever you are. Stay safe and tune in again to Tell Me How You Learn, the podcast brought to you by Time for You.